Hi, everybody. Welcome to my garden 2025. We are working hard to get everything put in, and I wanted to kind of give you an update as to where we're at with everything. Here you can kind of see the big overview, the big picture, so you kind of have a feel for how everything is looking. We are so lush and green right now. I am just wanting to be outside every day, but we're also getting lots and lots of rain. So I have to sneak out and work in the garden whenever I can in between the thunderstorms. In fact, as I'm editing this, it is raining right now, off and on all day long. Here is my little greenhouse, which has been great for really working on hardening off my seeds. Here I've got my ground cherries, and the theme for this year is I've started everything as seedlings, and then they didn't grow, and so then I replanted. And then when I replanted, everything did really, really well. So now I have way more seedlings than I have room for, which is not necessarily a bad problem to have. So what's left in here is still lots of veggies to go out. Here we've got all the squash and the melons and the cucumbers. I've got loads and loads of perennials. I actually did cold stratification. And I started lots and lots of perennials to put outside, and most of them are deer resistant, but they're very slow growing. This greenhouse has just been wonderful. I can pull the seeds out here and I can harden them off in a really controlled environment. And within a week, they're ready to go out in the garden. I am so lazy. I don't want to harden off the hard way where I have to pull them in and out and in and out. Now here I've got my herbs that I just put outside the day that I recorded this. A whole row of beautiful, beautiful herbs. Everything that I've planted this year, except for the strawberries and the trees, I've started from seed. So like this rosemary and lavender here on the end, they're teeny tiny because they just take forever to grow, but that's all right. It's fun to watch the progress. There you can see all the seedlings getting ready to go outside. And because we have deer all over the place, I have to cover all my beds with netting. Here, my onions actually look like onions. Super excited about them, even though they're still teeny tiny. In this bed, we've got kohlrabi and cabbage and broccoli. In this bed, we've got lots and lots of kale and more kohlrabi and a couple of heads of lettuce that I had extra room for. Here we've got tomatoes and basil. And all my tomatoes are teeny tiny because just like everything else, the first round didn't grow, and so I had to replant. Now they're growing way better, but they're just a little bit smaller than I would like, but they'll grow. Here's another bed of basil and tomatoes. And then this bed's got a few more tomatoes, some nasturtiums, marigolds, and then it's got a row of beans, I think, in the front. Here, this has got lettuce on the left, celery on the right-hand side, and this is that pink celery, which is really, really fun to see that grow. And it tastes just like regular celery. Here is watermelon. but the seeds haven't come up yet, so it just looks like a box of dirt. In this little tiny bed, we're going to put the ground cherries. They need to be outside a little bit longer in the greenhouse before they're ready. This next bed is strawberries up front, zinnias in the back, and a row of purple bush beans right down the middle. This bed on the end is earmarked for Minnesota midgets, which are seeds that have originated from Katie, my sister. And it's also going to have some okra in the back. And here you can kind of see there's another bed in front of the greenhouse. I'm going to put perennials in there. You can kind of see what it looks like when it's all covered up. Once we get the deer fencing up, I won't be covering everything like that, which will be a lot easier and a lot nicer. And then here you can see my teeny tiny orchard. I've got this little peach tree, which I just put in this year. It's covered in peaches, and I know I should take those peaches off, or at least some of them off. But it's so cool to see like really real fruit growing on a tree in my yard. How exciting is that? And then here we've got a Gala apple. And this, of course, is too young to be bearing any fruit. And then here is a Liberty apple. So those should be able to pollinate one another. Here's the bed that we have in front of our house, and I've got Jacob's Ladder in here along with verbascum, as well as Jupiter's Beard and some coleus. They're little because they were started from seeds, but hopefully they'll grow. And then here you could just see the view and how lush and green everything is. I did want to show you this, even though it's not in action right now. This was my seed starting room. It's out in the garage, and it's just a little tiny room in the back corner of the garage that I set up to have a little seed starting station. And it was wonderful. I had a little desk where I could work on seeding things or up potting things, shelf for supplies, and lots of grow lights with shelves. So that was really nice. All right. And here we've got some goat video. So the rest of this video is all animals. So you don't have to watch it unless you really, really want to. But I've got Olivia right here. She's the black and the white one with little bits of brown. She is the dominant goat, and she's a little bit of a bully. But has a spunky attitude. And then in the background, we have Penelope. She is very sweet. She's definitely a little more docile, but if Olivia pushes her too far, she will fight back. And sometimes we've had some arguments over food with headbutting, and really just like one of them will ram their body into the other one to get them out of the way so that they have full access to the food. So I'm trying different ways of providing the food, hopefully to find the way that causes the least amount of conflict. And I also think part of it is they are stressed being in a new environment, and so I'm hoping that over time they will get over that. The other issue that we've been working on is just learning to go into the barn at night. I close them up for predator protection because we do have predators around here being out in the woods, and they're not used to that. So every night is a gamble of will I get the goats into bed for or not. And so I'm trying different things, and it's actually getting better. They now know that that's the routine, but they're like little kids. Like I come out to put them to bed and they'll go run somewhere else and look at me like, make me. So, and other nights they go in like it's no big deal. So I think we're heading in the right direction. Right now, I'm just really working on trying to get them used to my energy. And the way that we do things. I spend a lot of time every day. I go out, just scratch on them and I pet them. And I'm just wanting them to get used to me touching them and being around them. And they've been around people, so really that's good. We've had the vet check them out. They seem to be in really good health. So that is really good to hear, good to know. And they're settling in nicely. I am enjoying every moment that I get to spend with them. They are good goats and they seem to want to be around me. And Bob, too. They love him, too. So it's all good. And here we've got our baby chickens. They are 2 months old. Like in 2 days, they'll be 2 months old. So they are doing really well. They're super healthy, very active, a little precocious. The white ones, those are the leghorns. They like to fly on top of the tarp or the shade cloth that I have way up high. They think that's really cool, which is just funny. And then once they get up there, it's like they don't know what to do with themselves. And I've got the little ones sleeping in this little hen house. And it's got its own fence around it so that the big chickens can't get to them and they can't get to the big chickens. So that's part of the integration process, which is something that usually takes about 3 months to do. And we're kind of in phase 1 of where they're side by side, but they can't get to each other. So that'll keep the little ones safe, but it will also start helping those older girls to get used to the new chicks. They very easily go to bed at night because chickens have that instinct that as soon as it gets dusk, they just go right into their sleeping area. So they are very easy to take care of at this point, which is really, really nice. And then here you can see some of my bigger girls with the little ones in the background. And all of the bigger girls are doing great. I've got 10 adult chickens and I have 12 babies, or more like teenagers. Right now I'm getting 4 or 5 eggs a day. And out of the 10, I think I have 7 or 8 that are actually laying. I know there's 2 that I don't think are laying at all. And then I have a couple of other ones that are older that I know don't lay quite as often. So I feel like I'm getting plenty of eggs for the number of chickens that I have. And the chickens seem to have really adjusted well to Arkansas. They seem healthy, they seem active, and I think they like the area that I've got them sleeping in because it's a little bit more open. We do have plans to, at some point, get a real building. We'll probably order another portable building and have that delivered, similar to the hen house that we had back in Illinois, maybe a little bit bigger. And we'll redo all the fencing as well so that it's more permanent. But this situation is working really well for right now, especially since we've got the 2 different groups of chickens. So all's well. The garden, all's well with the chickens and the goats, and I'm really enjoying now that spring is here and I really get to be outside every day, taking care of the animals, spending time with them, and working in the garden between the thunderstorms. I hope that you all are having a wonderful spring as well. Thanks so much for watching.